Hello, I'm Roland. Welcome to Speaking About Everything on Facebook, YouTube, and on Hot 99.9 FM radio. With me, I have a very interesting guest. Been in the program many times, and he's here again. Former Member of Parliament, MP Pantophlet. How are you doing, sir?
Hi, Errol. I'm doing fine. And of course, to the listeners, I hope you are tuning in and I hope we can have a very nice discussion. And I want to thank you all again for inviting me to your program. I believe that, whenever one sees your program, it's very informative. Sometimes people find it controversial and so on, controversial. But the fact is you speak the truth, and that's the most important thing. People know exactly what they see is what they get. So again, thank you very much for inviting me on your program.
You're welcome. You've been a member of Parliament for many years. So you understand Zimbabwean politics. You was there before 10 also. In the old system, the former Nelson Tilly's, correct? Right.
That's correct. As a matter of fact, Oral, I'm way back from 2003. I was a member of the Island Council then, and then, of course, when we became 10. And I like to say we're not a country. We're a constitutional state. So we're a country within the kingdom. That's not possible. But yes, from 2003, I got involved in politics. First as a member of Island Council, and then after 10, when we got our separate status, then I became a member of Parliament from that time until the last two elections, of course. I took part in the general election, but not in the August election. I think that 20 years was enough. I did my part, and I believe one should know exactly when there's a time to come and a time to go. And my time to leave came.
But your name is George Pantophlet. George is a very popular name, and Pantophlet is a big family name.
That's so true. That's so true. Yes, true. Or, when you said it, it reminds you of 2003 when I believe I said it on your program before. I was invited by the Dutch to attend a meeting. I can't remember the name it was back then, but I asked William at the time. I said, "Why are they calling me? I'm a new candidate. Why they ask me to come to the meeting?" He said, "Just go attend the meeting. Make sure you don't listen to them carefully before you answer, and see what they have to say." And based on the fact you said I am popular, the Dutch person said to me, he said, "You are well known in St. Martin and people like you." So again, from back then, I believe, that helped me quite a lot in my political career also.
You were unique because you were well loved by both sides of the aisle. You don't often get that in politics.
Well, it's all one of the things I keep telling persons then and even now. Important is when you're in politics, you remember this thing. It is a job you're doing, number one, and you go after the responsibility of the individual, how he or she is functioning, not their personal lives. And that I find, unfortunately, these days now, a lot of politicians now have forgotten ethics and morals and realize that in order to get ahead, they think they should attack somebody's personal or family, so which I find is unfortunate. I always kept a distance from that to the point where when I left to become a member of Nelson Tilly's Parliament, two colleagues on the Democratic Party said, "What can you say about him? He's a great man, so, and I want to thank them again for saying that."
When you serve in the Parliament of the former Nelson Tilly's, how different it was from serving in the Parliament of St. Martin?
It's hard to compare. Why? Because normally, and to be honest, of course, my former colleagues in Nelson Tilly would not like this, but I believe that our Parliament on St. Martin, if you compare to Curacao, we work more together compared to Curacao. But if I look at how I experienced it myself compared to Island Council days, I can say we have not done or been the Parliament for the people that we claim to represent and so on. And that I find is unfortunate, though.
So when you look at St. Martin today, right, and everyone is speaking about the Lynch law, and some people favor it and some people claim that it's a cause of the confusion we have in our politics where every man is his own boss. How you view that?
Before I go into the Lynch law, let me take this time also, you heard that Mr. Julian Lynch passed away.
Yes.
His funeral is taking place, and, I want to say to the family again, my deepest sympathy. Edgar Lynch, of course, we know is one of his brothers, yeah, and he's the one that came up with the Lynch law.
Right.
And the Lynch law, for me, for me, it advantaged myself. Because before the Lynch law, one would be elected based on not only the amount of seats that the party got, but the number that you are on the list. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. But the Lynch law changed so that the person with the most votes is the one who got elected to Parliament. And I believe that's where right now persons realize, oh, hey, you know something, you don't have to know much. You have to be famous and so on. I was popular, so I got inserted there. But at the same time, though, you have to realize that people go for persons who they believe they can trust, I would think. And at the same time, though, we have to understand our responsibility. And I think that today, the Parliament today has changed a lot from even 10-10-10, where there's a feeling of, I have to look out for me. It's no longer the people of St. Martin. It's not even no longer even the party. And one of the things I said, or I said it from the beginning, I said, look, I started from the time of SPN, SPM, SPA, never on the list, of course, but I always said, the day I don't want to support a party anymore, I'm going to give up my seat and go home. I'm not going to go independent and then, you know, join another party or whatever, because I find that as long as you don't elect yourself, then the seat is not yours. But of course, we'll have a different opinion. Most, if not all politicians have been elected based on this number of seats the party got, not on their own strength. So I think Mr. I'm not sure he got close. He's the only one I believe he
got a seat outright.
And I think Theo did it some years ago also, you know. Yeah. But since after that, I mean, besides that, no other. So I'm saying in that case, I would say it is his seat. But when it comes to the other members of Parliament and so on, they were not elected based on their own strength, but based on the amount of seats the party got. So that's, I find, is unfortunate.
I want to jump back. You mentioned the late Mr. Julian Lynch just passed away.
Yes, that's right, yes.
And I think he was quite an amazing guy that people don't realize. He was a union man too, fought for the rights of the people, just like your sister was a union person, you know. And we've had him in this program sometimes. I remember he represented a lot of people, so I want to extend our condolences too to his family.
Yes, indeed. You know, I met him a couple of times, and you have to listen to him carefully because he was so astute, you know what I mean, and so on. And somebody wondered exactly, hey, where is he going with this, you know? But I respected him highly.
Strong advocate.
Strong advocate. He was definitely for the people of St. Martin and so on. So again, may his soul rest in peace.
You know, you mentioned how politicians are since the Lynch law, right? In terms that now every man is own, you know, his own boss, etc. But when you look at the last election, let's jump back a little bit to the one from January. I think it was January 17th.
January 19th, I think it was. Right. 17, I think 17, because 19 was August, I believe, yes. Yeah. So you're correct.
That was quite an interesting election. But then you, as an experienced politician, what surprised you on August 19th? Well,
let me put it this way. Surprise, yes, because when I look at the candidates, those that were members of Parliament, those that even were ministers, and of course I must mention our former leader, at the time Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs, who lost quite an amount of votes. Also the former member of Parliament, Unde Marlin. But if you look at the party as a whole, we lost about 1,200 votes, Oral, 1,200 votes. And that sent a clear message from the people, by the people to us as a party. I still say us because I'm still an NA support and so on. And I really realize that I think the people have said to us that we don't recognize the NA that we supported in the past anymore. There's a different NA altogether, different set of people altogether. We don't connect with them, you know what I mean? And the people felt neglected. And I'll say this, when people feel neglected, they're going to punish you. And I believe NA was punished on August 19 based on the fact that people felt that they were not part of the NA anymore. They didn't feel that NA cared about them at all. So they showed it by their votes, and that's how we are where we are today.
You know, in 2023, you was here in this program, and we spoke about that. We alluded to, and I also highlighted the fact that you were very transparent, very frank and open, and you also mentioned that you all had some problems in terms of I don't remember.
You know, I'm smiling. You know why? Because something that I said in the program, even from my own party, I got calls like, why did you say this? I said, but look, I cannot say that I am pleased with it because I was not pleased with everything. You know, and now based on that, now look at all of this today.
That they should have listened to you.
Exactly. No, so what I'm saying, and it's true, I believe in being frank and open, because the fact is, once you're frank, people know who they're dealing with, and they can't come and sit around, but you said this and now you're saying something different. No, I remain consistent, and I still feel that had we, and talking in hindsight, had we put more interest in the people, things that reflected. You see, a lot of things were discussed and done behind closed doors. People don't know what's going on, and people want to see tangible things, you see?
Yeah.
And I believe that one of the mistakes that NA made was a lot of secret discussions, things that might be good, but people don't know what's going on. If people want to hear you say something, they want to see exactly what are you doing, not what you're saying, but what are you actually doing. I think NA failed tremendously where that's concerned, and again, not keeping in contact with the people. I used to hear, now that they have these, I think you have to use a pass to go upstairs and so on. You can't see them, you can't come to the office and these kind of things. People we have to understand this, Oral. All over the world, things have changed, not only in St. Martin, but it's not everywhere in the world we have caught up.
Right.
So we got to be very particular, especially when it comes to politics and how we deal with the people, and we can't go from day to night. Right away. You have to take your time and grow. And what should have happened should have been a gradual change. But it's too drastic. All at once, you can't see anybody, they're too busy for you, and people say, wait a minute, okay, that's how I'm treated now. There's election time coming in. Hence the result we have today.
Yeah, it's like people want to touch you, be in contact with you.
Touch the flesh, all right.
Yeah.
That was one of William's statements.
And apparently everybody felt neglected, as you said. And you look at people like Christopher Emmanuel. He was a former member of NA2.
Exactly.
And a strong supporter of the party, run back to his mother and everything else. So, and then you saw that split took place there. But
let me say this. I told Christopher he made a tremendous mistake. I said, look, let me tell you something. NA was by far the last few elections the strongest party around. You are a young politician.
Yeah.
Something you're not pleased with, stick around. The older folks are moving out. You'll have your time, you know what I mean? Sit down, discuss, stick with it, because look, I'm out now. William is out, Samuel is out. I mean, there's room. Now you with the experience, and let me say this, he made some strong points in many areas.
Yeah.
Very strong points, you know what I mean? But one of the things I think he did, which I even tried to tell him, avoid it, is saying, and it's the worst party ever, the worst party ever. I always said this, and I learned this in the beginning. I was told it by William Mann. He said, you gotta be careful what you say, because you never know who you're gonna make a collision with.
Right.
And I'll use this term, which is an old term you and I know for sure. You don't burn the bridge.
Exactly.
Cross it again, And I was very disappointed in a sense, because he and I spoke sometimes. And one of the things he said to me, and of course he can try to deny it, but I don't think he should. He said to me one time in Pan, he said, George, let me tell you something, he said. He said, a lot of your articles that you wrote in the past, he said, I have them. Sometimes I go to them and I use them. Because you see, I have strong points, but people don't listen to you, And I smiled. And it was said to me also by President Member of Parliament Utley, to my face. He said, George, you have good ideas, but they don't listen to you. You know what I mean? And of course, I'm okay, because my thing is, I don't have all the files. My wife said I should have things filed, but it's on record. A lot of things I'm talking about now, again, today, are things that I said in the past. Yeah. And I always said this, I want to change a lot of laws, Earl, but there are laws that are there that are not being enforced. Yeah. And I said, as long as you don't enforce them, or if you don't get the 8 or the 7 in addition to yourself to pass the laws, you would not get them passed, no matter how good you might think they are, because you need the majority to pass them. And that is why today you find ourselves where we are saying things are not in place, but again, you have to get the laws put in place.
I won't say that don't listen to you. I would say we're not a reading population, and the people whose vote you needed are not reading those letters that you wrote to the editor in the local paper. And I think it's unfortunate. So all the great ideas and those powerful letters that you wrote, only a small group of people took the time to read it, because we're not a reading community.
I think that's one of the serious.
That's one of the problems we have.
We have, and unfortunately, we have it for too long.
Yeah.
You know the old saying, if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a book, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, I hope we can change that narrative, because it hurts us, because sometimes we not having the information, then we don't know exactly what to decide on things, you know, and I find that's unfortunate. Yeah. I do a lot of reading, not only locally, but also regionally, internationally, because why we live on this planet, and whatever's happening all over the world affects us to some extent, but we have to know exactly how to deal with it. You're a business person. You're in technology. Things are changing. You have to keep up to date. Rapidly. You know, before you get to something else, it changes again. You know, and why I mentioned the issue of, and I don't want to deviate too much from our discussion, but the issue of artificial intelligence. You know,
that's incredible.
These dock workers in the U.S.
Yeah.
One of the things they were striking against was that, and I said, good luck, because it's going to come. You can't stop it. You know what I mean? In Holland right now, I think, or in France, they're also striking against that too, because they don't want it to come to take their jobs. Or we're heading into a century where no matter what you say, what you do, it's going to come. And like somebody said, if you don't prepare for it, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah.
You know, so it's unfortunate, but again, come back to St. Martin, we have to read and update ourselves on what is happening in the world. It's important for us.
Oh, definitely. In case you've just joined us, this is Speaking of Everything on Facebook, YouTube, and on Hot 99.9 FM radio. My guest is Mr. George Pantophlet, former Member of Parliament and member of the National Alliance political party. We're here speaking with him. You know, Mr. Pantophlet, there are some people, I'm going to shock you here now. There are some people across the ocean who are happy that you're not in Parliament anymore.
You're serious?
After that, you know why, right?
Yes.
You know why?
Yes, I am. Well, as a matter of fact, I criticized just one of them, but you know, the state secretary was here recently, right? And he talked about capacity and so on, you know, and technology, and I smiled. I said, but you know, I've heard the same thing over. As a matter of fact, he criticized the former one. I don't know if you heard it.
No.
He said, and let me paraphrase, not to misquote him. He said, all she was good for us is to drink and have parties.
Wow.
I found that was low.
Yeah, that was low.
Yeah, low, but that's what he said. But he said plain, St. Martin have to buck up, you know, and so on, have to do this and do that, but they need capacity, they need experts. And I'm saying, guys, we've been headed all the time. I am not saying we are perfect all because we know that we have corruption is the word, use it, we have it. I mean, all over the world have it, we have it too. You understand? So I'm not going to use an excuse for that. But you can't come and pressure me with certain things that you want done, knowing full well that basically under the circumstances and the things that you have put in place, we can't get it done. You tie me up one place and then you criticize the other, and you know what I mean? Come on. But again, it is up to us all to put our heads together. You know, the CFT extended till 2027 now.
Yeah.
And for me, that's, I don't use Christopher thing, what have they done for us? What have the CFT done? Control things? Maybe. But if you check good, whenever it comes to adjusting the budget, they cut in social issues, they cut in education, they cut in health. This morning, again, listen to the news. I think it's France, one country, they're cutting in the social benefits again. I'm saying, but what's going on here? Why are you touching the essential things that we need as a government in order to take care of people? But that's how the world is.
You know what got them very upset when they hear you speak?
The debt cancellation?
Yes. No, you know, I mean, they're happy you're gone because no one else is speaking about it anymore.
Well, you just touched something there that really had me very disappointed. Up to this morning, I was thinking about that, and I'm glad you brought it up. When the Prime Minister got in, Dr. Mercelina, he mentioned that the debt is unattainable. I thought he was going to address it. But now we're going to get a $75 million loan from the Dutch in order to buy, I think, generators for GEB. And I'm saying, wow.
And then lease them back to
you know, so I'm saying, how you said the debt is unattainable, but you're going into a debt still. You understand? Who's going to pay that? I guess probably GEB. But the fact is, you're still going to get a loan where you owe them almost $2 billion already. And still this month, I don't know if the deadline passed already. Because remember, with the Indian situation, they said, if you don't find a solution, we're going to give you a higher interest rate. Now, I don't know if folks who are listening might agree, but I believe thus far, the new Minister of Finance is doing a good job. She has the courage, at least, to do certain things with regards to the pension, where she stated we're going to be paying for Suriname and paying for the Best Islands also. Now, apparently, that's off the books. And based on what I heard this morning from, what's his name, Gonzalo Qualis, that gives the news, that Curacao can live with that. because 15 members of parliament could also approve the amendment that she brought to it. So that's interesting, you see. Yeah. Again, politics aside, I want to know that whatever minister or parliamentarian is there, that they're working on behalf of St. Martin people, not for themselves, a personal agenda, because that is going to hurt the country more and more.
Well, I think the best thing for St. Martin would have been that St. Martin owned shares in India, period. We can't be paying for a mistake that was made because of the central bank
not doing proper supervision.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And a billionaire gets away with murder in this case, and now the people of St. Martin will have to pay for that over the years without any return. I believe that St. Martin should own shares as a return for that in India.
But can that, if that can be done,
I'm sure it could be done. Our politicians who didn't insist
think
on
longer
that.
than the nose, man. I mean, come on, because if you have shares in it, then of course, then at least you have more insight into what's taking place there also. Do you know why they said the excuse, okay, let me just excuse. They said about St. Martin, apparently, when I heard Mr. Ardin, I think, Jardin or whatever, he said that when this money is being filtered out of India by Mr. Ansari and functionaries or whatever, that there was no law that allowed the central bank to supervise because he made a separate company. Now they changed the law, now they can supervise it, but at that time they couldn't do so. And I'm speaking as an outsider. These billionaires, they can pay lawyers for 20, 30 years, you know what I mean, and don't feel it. But I'm saying that as a central bank, any kind of financial institution, especially as India with that kind of value, you should have had laws in place to ensure that every cent that goes in and out is supervised. But that wasn't done back then. That's why he was able to do so. But you said you get away with that court cases where the rule for him to pay $89 million. I'm saying, how come only $89 million? Because more than that he took out of the company.
Yeah.
So what about the rest? You understand? He's 90-something years old. One would have think that he would say, you know, something, I'm closer to the grave than ever. Would just, assume a responsibility and pay. But no, still hanging on, you know, and there are going to be more court cases.
And the government of St. Martin could have done that because in 2008, with the big financial
crisis, yeah.
The U.S. government bailed out companies,
yes,
banks.
$600 billion.
But at the same time, they had shares in it which they sold back after a while. So it is possible it was done before and it's still being done, but it seems like we don't understand how this works. But I'm surprised. I'm really surprised.
Now, I didn't even think about that because what you're saying is true. You see, the whole thing is right. Government, okay, they say government shouldn't get involved in business, whatever. Government should get involved in anything.
Government have to get in business.
Exactly. Anything that can benefit you and the people, you have to get involved in it. I don't know if I told you one time where I read where the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, he built a hotel, and sold it for about 3-4 times the amount. He didn't want to run a hotel, but he wanted to show the people that, hey, government can invest and make returns on investment. You know, and he did it. So I'm saying, do not tell government they cannot have involved in private issues. They can be, but you have to make sure that you do it in a responsible manner. And of course, as best as keep politics out of it.
Do you remember the deal with the Dutch government and the harbor?
Oh,
the shares.
Yep. Look at that. Look how that turned out.
So that was a beautiful.
And we benefited because
exactly
we got profit from it. So that was used for St. Martin.
That's what I'm saying. That it's so unfortunate. But again, I didn't think about that. I'm a dummy. I don't know.
but you see, that's why I say this is to have a business person like Trump. And politics is one thing.
Trump is a good guy.
Yeah.
Don't worry. That's my boy.
But I'm telling you something. I heard certain things, you know what I mean, that I can agree with, you know what I mean? But what I'm getting at, right? Government cannot be run like a business because you can't decide on your own. It's a bureaucracy and so on, right? But at the same time, though, I still think that if they can sit down oral and discuss things that really matters for the people and so on, because I will say this, I don't care, let me say I don't care. Business, if you don't have a business or company, they can't employ anybody. If they fail, you have unemployment. So what you got to find out, how can I assist them in order for them to thrive? Because that's your job.
How a country can thrive without business?
Look, what's her name? Sarah Scott Williams one time, and this is kind of off, but she said one time, she said, talking about ending. She said, no, all those who you all get support from, you have to pay them back now, politics-wise and so on, donations and stuff like that. So, and I said it publicly, recorded and everything. I said, look, Mr. Chairman, I said, tell me a country in the world where private sector doesn't control business, doesn't control government. Private sector controls government. So whatever you want.
Even in the Netherlands.
Of course, you know what I mean? So the issue is, how does the government maneuver within them now in order to benefit your people? And make sure they make it too, because I said, if they fail, you're in trouble. You have to understand these things.
Sometimes the Dutch Prime Minister go on trade missions, he take along a number of business people.
Exactly.
Our government here never do that in St. Martin. They ever did that in St. Martin?
I don't think so. And you see, and that's where you should copy. Look, I don't think much of the Dutch, especially when it comes to the government, because the people could be something different, but of course you have those two who are, But still, I tell folks, I say, we're part of a kingdom, and say whatever you want, they are astute, those guys are smart, they know to plan, they're meticulous. I'm saying, you're part of the kingdom, why don't you learn certain things that you can take, that you can learn from to build yourself? Yeah. Don't have to take everything, but don't be part of this thing. And then you see this small little country, little tiny country in Europe, the fourth richest in Europe. Right. Not only in Europe, they're all over the world doing business and doing it very well too. You can't learn from that. Something's wrong.
One of the biggest food producers in the world.
Exactly.
I was
shocked to find it out.
Yeah.
I was shocked to find out the biggest food producer in the world, a little country like so 18 million people.
We have to use all that knowledge.
Knowledge.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, but again, Earl, looking at today's politicians, I'm looking at St. Martin. My advice to you is to look in the mirror and tell yourself, what is it I'm not doing for my people?
Yeah.
You see, look at that, because young people, most of them, they're educated, they have their degrees and so on.
Right.
But all that was not enough at all. You have to have a social party where you understand who people are and what it is they want from you. It's not easy, we have to do it.
No, a lot of young people, they feel, okay, I'm smart and that's it. Smart is one thing, but if you don't have wisdom.
You just said a keyword. All the knowledge, information, money, but the wisdom how to execute it. That's what you need. And that's what, unfortunately, if I look at our young people and they might be listening and so on, I'm okay, but that's what they lack. Yeah. They lack that, and also courage too, to take some decisions, you know what I mean? That's what they lack.
So when you look back at all the things that you've been involved in as a politician, what stands out most in your mind?
Whew, that's a difficult question. Now for me, and it's more, I would like to end on a positive, but it's more negative, is the fact that when I came with ideas for things that I believe would help St. Martin, that the support was not there.
Like debt reduction.
Debt cancellation, the short-term contract, the tax collection issues. I even said, and one time I mentioned it and somebody said, no, you can't do it. I said, look, and I listened to the Minister of Finance also, interestingly. She wanted to stop taxing AOV.
Really?
Yes, she mentioned that also in the budget, during the budget. That'll be nice, you know what I mean? But for who? Because if you're a sole proprietor, do you benefit? And what about the SZB? Are they covered? Because up to now, or you know better than me, are sole proprietors covered by SZB?
Is what?
Sole proprietors, are they covered by SZB up to now? Dr. Khan?
No.
That's what I'm saying. And I had one of the staff in 2001. She went and she did a research, a whole breakdown, 6 pages she gave to me concerning how to deal with it. I brought her in Parliament. You have taxi drivers, you have people have what's going on. To date, is not compared.
I heard there's some plans to correct that.
There have been plans all the time, all for the longest while already. You know what I mean? The issue is plan one thing, we have to execute. You know, and that's where I find they're failing.
You remember the 6-month contract?
You know, and call it a short-term contract. And all I'm saying is people need to know that they have security, job security. I don't know if I told you because, you know, we talk so often. Yeah. I sat down with Otley in his office, and I said, Minister, this issue of the short-term contract is good where you're going. I said, but you cut it back from 36 months to 24 months. I said, no, that thing should be eradicated completely. I said, but any kind of function that is temporary, then it should be allowed. And hotels, restaurants that need additional staff for the season, it's allowed. But you can't have all the employees on contract all the time, you know what I mean? And that's what's happening up to now. And to make matters worse, because I heard the...
You mean companies that have all employees on contract?
On contract. 15 years, 20 years, and so on, you know. And while on that subject, I heard SHTA criticizing government because they want to raise tax, room tax, and so on. Now, the details I don't have. And they said something that is key. They said, but why you don't try tax collection? Why do you deal with compliance? You know what I mean? I said, I was finding well. I said, but then compliance, who? Who are you trying to collect? You know what I'm saying?
The same people again, the same local people.
Exactly. And my question was, and I'm saying it to you, I didn't get a chance to say it to anybody face to face except my wife. I said, SSGA, are your hotels, are they up to date with their taxes and their premiums? Are they up to date? Are they up to date? Because they're saying now for marketing, St. Martin only posting 3 million, Carousel 18 million, and Aurora 25 million. And all, maybe you can help me out. Why is it that I've been in politics for 20 years, and today still you find St. Martin can't find the funds to put into marketing? The budgets are already the budget again as a mega budget. Yeah. Why? I mean, I don't understand it. I'm telling you the truth. I don't understand it. Those are vital things. The more you invest, the more returns you can get because you can market. But they're not doing it. And then they complain, what's going on? Look at Aruba. 25 million, but they get their returns. You know what I mean?
The hotels, yeah, some of them are not paying their room tax, huh? They collect it, but they don't pay it.
That's why I asked you the question. And as a matter of fact, is Enriquez, I can't remember his name too well. He's part of SSGA. Did I have the right name? Or Rodriguez or whatever?
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. If I miss, if his name is okay, it's okay. He can correct that. I got information where somebody said they were charging, some hotels, not all, value-added tax. So I brought it up in Parliament. I said, wait a minute. I said,
for what?
For what? Then he said he doesn't know about it and so on, and investigated. That was 2 years, 23 years ago. Even our ministers, Economic Affairs and Finance, didn't follow up.
But you know, the point of that, the SSG said something. I read part of what they said. Any tax increase, even small amount, to the visitor is a mistake. And I disagree with that.
I disagree with him wholeheartly, Earl.
I'll tell you what, a few years ago, when I was in New York City, I looked at my room charges for the night I stayed in. Every night, there was a charge of $3 for the Javits Center. No, I didn't.
What?
I didn't go to the Javits Center.
But they charge you for it, though?
Because there.
Because you stayed there, it's part of
No, I stayed at the hotel, but in the city, everyone that stayed in the city of New York, that tax applied to Javits Center, $3. I had it right there in the bill.
You see, and that's why I agree with you. They all use that, and that's why I tell you, Oral, sometimes I get a little tired of hearing the same old thing. They all have the same excuse. It will not discourage any tourists.
No, not.
Okay? But you see, the thing is, again, what they try and do is make sure as much as possible they benefit themselves. I'm going to say this. And unfortunately, sometimes people in St. Martin have to learn to follow up Oral instead of just saying things and then backing down. This worker at one of the particular hotels, I won't mention the name out of respect.
Yeah.
Listen to this. They work 9 to 5, housekeeping. They are told, that when it comes to overtime, they should punch out at 5, come back and work the other hours.
Wow.
So I tell them, and then you're only allowed a certain amount of vacation days to establish by them. They decide how many vacation days, and they decide how many sick days too. I said, is that written down? They said, yes. I said, I want to see it. I have not seen them. How can I go out now and defend if I have it in black and white? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I mean, but again, fair. But if everybody's afraid, then nothing gets done around.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So now SSG is talking about, if you increase it, but at the same time, you have some of your organization now abusing the workers. You understand? And then you want to come with different things. No. You know, clean up your backyard first.
No, I think there's room for small increases in taxation of visitors to this island.
Of course.
You come to benefit. We benefit from your stay on the island, and you're spending monies in the stores, restaurants. But at the same time, I think they have to seriously look at some areas and small taxes, so $3, $4, $5. It's not going to break them.
But what about these mansions that are renting out down low lands? In the 80s, I was told by a cleaner, she used to take care of the place of the persons. And of course, once you work in an environment and so on, sometimes you get information that you and I might not be privy to. And she said to me at that window, and I never forget, in the police station, she said, look, she said, the persons who rent these homes pay $15,000 a week. But we get nothing from that. Now, how is that possible? I said it one time on a Parliament floor, and was it Parliament or Island Council? It was on Parliament, yes. And I got a call because my landline number was over the phone book. An American guy called me. He said, "Mr. Pantophlet," he said, "I listened to you on the floor of Parliament." He said, "You're correct." He said, "If we're using your infrastructure," he said, "we got to pay garbage tax. We should be paying all these things."
Yeah.
The man called and said that, you know what I mean? But still you're talking about you don't want to charge a little additional fee? Come on. There are more of them come to Ireland than we live on the island world.
We providing service, police protection, everything else.
Exactly.
You know. So, you know, it is unfortunate that a small group of us, have to pay the taxes and burden for all these people coming here making money and then just go.
Well, you see there again, I keep saying, I tell my wife, I say sometimes I hear the same thing over and over again. In 2005, I said, guys, you're giving these tax holidays to these big companies. I know the discussion came up again.
Right.
And I said, what about the locals? You won't get them 10, but get them 5. You know what I mean? At least get them going, you know? But those that have the 10-year tax holidays, it's two things. You either charge, if you got to pay 25%, let them pay maybe 10%, but let them pay something, because what they do, they change their names, and then they come back again with the same owners. Now in Holland has the same problem also, and I'm saying, guys, if it's the same owners, then you got to find a way around it, because what they're doing, they're abusing the system.
The loopholes in the law.
Exactly, you know what I mean? You know, so yeah. But that's how it is. But I am happy to hear now they're talking again about giving small business tax break. I'm looking and praying that takes place in my lifetime, Oral.
Well, I hope so too. In case you just joined us, speaking of other thing, my guest, former member of Parliament, Mr. George Pantophlet. When we come back, we'll continue here on Facebook, YouTube, and on Hot 99.9 FM radio. Please stay with us. My guest here on Speaking About Everything is former Member of Parliament, Mr. George Pantophlet, member of the National Alliance, and it's always a pleasure having him in the program with us. You know, it's so interesting when you look at St. Martin, this beautiful island. Sometimes we don't realize how beautiful we are as an island.
I don't think we do, our.
But at the same time, there's a lot of competition around us. And it seems like we're not doing anything at all. I saw a video last night of guys on motorbikes right here, just over the bridge here in Simpson Bay. They parked their bikes in the road, and they came out, and there was a chair fight and beating up at that restaurant. I don't know what really happened, because it's a video that don't tell you much. Mm-hmm. But from what I saw, this is terrible.
Well, our young people on St. Martin, and we know it's regional, because I was on one of the islands and so on, and I won't mention the names, a couple of islands, where the Prime Minister and all is talking about more stringent laws and so on. Stringent laws is one thing, but you got to start from home. What is happening at home, where the parents are concerned, where, you know, what because I am putting the blame on this, and you and I know, Oral. In our day, all we had fights, yes, but not like this. I mean, say whatever you want, we're not criticizing or condemning, not like this, you understand? But again, the laws change where Robert has to, if you try to touch his daughter with a lily on her hand, she can call him and get him locked up, you understand? So what has happened is it has taken responsibility from the parents and put it in the hands of government, you see? But they still want parents now to be responsible for their children. This 15-year-old that beat up the man, you heard about that one, right?
No, that's what.
3 15-year-old boys and
on Front Street.
Yes,
yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And now they're minors. Now the parents are responsible. The parent take let me say a stick and just hit them too hard. Then you can lock them up because it's child abuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So where's the balance? What you're saying, Oral, it is St. Martin has become very dangerous when it comes to our youths. The motorbikes. Honestly, I understand now why, as we get younger, some people don't want to be on the road too often, because the way these guys drive, and they're blowing their horns, you got to get out their way, you know? I did something a couple of times, and my wife told me not to do it, and I listened to her. I'm not going to do it anymore. When they used to come straight to me, I'll stay straight. I never deviated. and they will always move.
Yeah.
You know, but I think being an adult, which I just say I should either stop or be more responsible, because it got me angry just to see the fact that I am on my right and they're coming at me, and they don't care, you understand me? So I said no, so I just leave it alone. But the fact is, Oral, there's an anger amongst our youth, and it apparently it's towards parents, it's towards society, towards everybody. And how do we address this now? We got to start from the basic now.
We've got to speak with them too, you know, because I realize when you see guys and they look bad and mean, but when you start to speak with them, you realize they're not like that.
And that is why I said, when I think about it, you know, when you get to know them, and you get to talk with them, and I know that many years ago I had experience with this young man, always on the street. I'm talking many years ago, and I think I said it years ago. Also, I believe, if not in your program, also in Parliament. He was about, a young man. He was about not even 11, 12 years old, but he was not at school. Police brought him into the station and so on. So I said, let me talk to him. I said, why are you not in school? He didn't answer. I said, where's your father? He doesn't know. And I asked him, I said, where's your mother? And these are the words, that song, real rough and raw. He said, she's in the whole house. That's what the boy said to me, you know. And I'm talking 30 years ago. Today it has become worse because why? Our young people feel that, as you said, we don't talk to them, so we don't care about them. So they're going to do what they're going to do to get attention. You understand? And I think that's where you mentioned a key thing there. How do you talk to them? How do you approach them? Because again, they know when you're a fake, or that's one thing. You know, and you better come straight to them. You know what I'm saying? And when you get to talk to them, they're intelligent, oral. The things that they say, you say, well, I mean, why is this young man, why aren't they in school, why aren't they studying? You know what I mean? The brain, what they have, the knowledge they have, they should be using it. But so there's something has to be done by us who are here still, as the older ones, because if we're not the good examples, then something is wrong somewhere. God is looking at us, not what we say, not what we do.
No, you're right.
You know, that's a key thing.
It's just that when I saw all those motorbikes stop in the road, and they got off the bike.
No regard for traffic. Exactly. No regard for traffic.
Went for a fight.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, I can't believe that's in Martin.
And we say in states and so on, but the fact is also too, I will say once or two, a lot of social media, we have adopted a lot of things we have seen and so on, and just imitate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, you can't imitate what's not in you either. You understand, you know? So somewhere now, something started somewhere. So I believe that we have a job in our hands. When I say we, society, government, churches, everybody. It's not a one-man show here. All of us got to do our part, and you got to start as soon as possible.
You know, I was telling someone the other day that years ago, we had a lot of people, our people, working as maids in the hotels, cleaning rooms, etc.
Yes.
And when they go to clean the rooms in the hotels, they will leave the children at home. They come home. There's a maid at home taking care of the house. Imagine, here's a local person working as a maid in a hotel, but they have a maid at home, right?
Imagine.
Now today, let's fast forward 25, 30 years later now, those people that were doing that, they're older, they don't have much money, they're really in bad situation, and they can't afford a maid, you know? And it's kind of ironic in a way to see how it is going. And now today those people can't even get a job in a hotel as a maid, because you go to the hotels, it's mainly people from other places. So here you have St. Martin, people that worked hard, helped build this country as maids, bartenders, waiters, you name it, and now today they're by the roadside. It's
early, and that's why I was very surprised when I was in one of the supermarkets and this young man, GB, went off at the same time.
Right.
We were talking and so on. He said, seniors, and that's what he said. He said seniors should be treated like royalty. When he said that, I was shocked. I mean, there's a young man, you know, how do they think about seniors? He said they should be, because he said, you guys have worked so hard for so many years, now it's time for us to treat you all as royalty. You know what I mean? He said, but it's not happening. And to get back to what you're saying there, we shouldn't have any senior in St. Martin, no senior at all in St. Martin, oral, that is struggling, that if government can't assist, because sometimes the family themselves are struggling. Say whatever you want, sometimes the children are struggling themselves, you know what I mean? But that is where I believe, after they've put in all those years working, that definitely should be a time where you can assist them also. I can't compare us to Holland, but at the same time though, when you look at how Even when you go to the banks, or you know, I was shocked to find out that if you or I ask to use the bathroom, they let us use it. Did you know that?
No.
Because I asked at one of the banks, and I was told, yes, if we ask as seniors, I can't speak for everybody else. You know what I mean? I said, because you can't have us in the line standing for hours and so on, and then we want to use the bathroom. We can't. They said, no, if you ask, they let you do so. I found it out just last month.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It should not be something that is unknown. It should be known, because say whatever you want, as you get older, or there's certain things that you can't do, you'll need assistance. You know, and having us stand in line like some of the banks right now have, there's no more customer service. I think you realize that too. There's no more customer service. You got to stand in one line, and everybody has your business too. And I don't understand that one though. Like a fellow said one time, when I asked him how much money he wanted, he said he wanted in silence. You know, because his business is right out there. But to get back to the seniors oral, I think that our seniors are still not respected. Yes, there are those who didn't plan for the future.
And that's where I was coming to.
That those didn't plan for the future.
But you know, I feel that we can't blame the people here.
And I was going to say that too.
Because in the 70s, the 80s, you know, this was a great island. People made a lot of money, built their homes, etc., send the children off to study, you name it. Today, those same people are suffering, man. It's unbelievable. They didn't plan for it, but they didn't know better either. And I think there should have been some guidelines from government to ensure that private companies also had pension plans, so that we won't be in this situation we are today.
Well, you see, again, we're touching things that should have happened years ago. Again, in 2000s, I was in Parliament. I mentioned, we talked about the pension. And I said, I did some research and found out that in India, and I'm not taking them out, targeting them specifically, but in India, 1929 pension is compulsory. 1929, the employer has to ensure that you have a pension plan. 1929. How come in St. Martin you don't have that?
Yeah, it's just so
you see, and like I told Audley, I said,
the hotels didn't want it, by the way. The hotels resisted that kind of idea back in the 70s and 80s too.
You understand what I'm saying? And that is why today we have a lot of seniors who are suffering because of this. Because
exactly.
And I said, Minister Audley at the time, I said, look, I said, when you're working, you have a particular income. Now when you go on pension, mostly the majority of persons don't make the same income. I'm saying, again, you have to contribute to some extent. Why didn't you allow for a special premium to be put in place where you, while you're working, pay something, and the employer also pay something? Then at the end of the term, or if there's something, the company goes bankrupt, which means you're out of work. You can't tell employee because there's no money at all to employ you. But that fund should be there where for the next 6 months, based on what you have invested and the employer invested, the income that you had while you were working, you maintain it for 6 months. After that, then you rely on government completely. But of course, you are the one who contributed in the beginning towards that. You know what I mean? I said, just think about that premium also, because again, you must find a way, because cost of living going up, Earl. And look, when I go to supermarkets, Earl, I say to myself, how do the people make it?
Boy.
I'm telling you, and it seems you have to go in it every minute.
Yeah.
All of some you forget, you know, and then the prices are changing so quick. There again.
They're changing while you're there, but
somebody called in on the program, and I just told my wife, say, see, there we go again. I told our former Minister of Finance, there are machines that are being used at the airport, I think Caruso had them also, where your inventory, everything is input into that machine. And you couldn't hide your inventory, you couldn't hide your sales, you know what I mean? I told our former minister 2 years ago, I said, buy them. He said about 2,000 gallons. I said, that's chicken feed. For the returns you can make on them, get them. Now I heard somebody calling last week asking about the same machines.
But you know,
to put into markets and big institutions, you know what I mean? But I rest my case on that.
I don't think that was solved in a way, because you know prices are going. In America, they're complaining about the prices of food. It's inflation. I think it's so unfortunate when you look at what's happening in Simran, because there's other areas that we could have made some drastic changes that we didn't do. People come to work here in Simran, and I know you know this better than me because you work at the immigration, right?
20 years ago, exactly.
And I was looking on the internet a few years ago, and some of the islands in the Caribbean, if you wanted a work permit, depending on what it was $5,000-$7,000 renewal every year.
You see, and the thing is, Earl, people would pay for it. A lot of people have paid money the person who abused them.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean, just took their money and they got nowhere.
Exactly.
I have spoken to many persons, and I suggested this, but of course, you know, you can suggest, but those who have to execute don't execute. That's how it is. Instead of having what you call a work permit, as you mentioned there, let an individual file for him or herself and have that like ID card. Let them pay. They will pay for it because all they want to be is legal on the island. You understand? And while they're legal, they contribute also to the government coffers. You get the taxes, you get the premiums, you'll make money out of them. But as it is now, and I said it more than once, and up to now, as I sit there oral, I asked the question, I said, I heard them again mention, yes, employers are not filing for the people I'm saying, but how many fines have you issued to those employers?
They never did, right?
No.
And it's 5,000 guilders, I think?
10,000 guilders you can find.
It went up to 10,000?
No, it has been 10,000 guilders for a long time, oral. Okay. The labor law says that the minister of labor, not justice, because justice can issue fines. The minister can issue up to 10,000 guilders fine. Okay. But why have they never done it?
Wow.
So I'm saying, that is why employers, or some employers, continue to abuse it because they realize, I'm not getting a fine anyhow. If you start to fine them, you'll see a change where they realize, wait a minute, if I don't do X, I'm going to be fined. But what they do, they employ you, immigration pick you up, deport you, and they put in somewhere else in your place, and it continues on and on.
Well, very important poverty too on St. Martin.
Exactly.
And also important mentally ill people from other places.
Poverty, mentally ill, and what that does, our health system is
strained.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, as if we're going to lose 23 million by the end of this year, next year.
Yeah, then terrible shit.
Why? Again, all another discussion. Government never. I think you worked government before for a while, right?
I was head of the government
right, many years.
For 10 years.
Right, okay. Now, our 10%, that'll take out our pay for we call it for medical.
Right.
They took it out, but they never paid, or they never collected it. So when you go to the doctor, SV covers a certain percentage, but the percent that the government had to pay to SV, they never paid it. Never paid it. That's millions. So all those things, again, they did incorrectly. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, St. Martin can make money the right way, you know, and that's why, as much as I'm on the Dutch case, we also are responsible, and we're not doing what we have to do in order to generate the funds.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, though, because, you know, the people elect people into office, they expect them to really go and do what they need to do, and then you have just a handful of people like yourself who's out there. I tell you, and a lot of people laugh and say, "Oh, what George is saying is impossible." It was possible to get that debt for cancellation.
Of course.
Unfortunately, it didn't happen because it's only one person.
Yeah. But you heard the Prime Minister of Barbados also talking about reparations.
Oh, yeah,
she's vehemently in that, you know, and she's asking for a lot of money from England, something like $1 trillion. I said, wow, that's a lot of money. But the issue is...
it's not sufficient when it comes to them. It's never sufficient right now.
You see, and my thing is, I was not even looking at the money alone. I'm looking at also expertise. Because you're all saying being on expertise, being on capacity. Okay, then, since you're the ones who had us as slaves for so many years, didn't allow us to do what we had to do, now we're playing catch up. So you assist us there. That's also a contribution also, along with the finances. And then we can bill ourselves to tell you, thank you very much. But you cannot tell me, and you saw the video that I had in Curacao. You can't tell me that over all the years, you made all that money off our backs. Now, yes, how much is St. Martin contribute, how much whatever, that's not the point is you benefited. And when I said you benefited, you did. Yeah. So I'm saying now, they're going to build something for some 20 million. Don't you heard about this? Some 20.
Yeah, but that's a joke.
Come on, It's a joke. When I heard it, I got upset.
Yeah.
I don't want to build nothing for me. You know what I mean? Cancel the debt. Let's cancel that.
That's why what your approach was better, because personally, I don't believe in reparation.
Thank you.
But I was at a conference where Ralph Gonzalez, the Prime Minister,
spoke
about it. And he made a very convincing argument for reparations.
Okay.
But having said that, I think the most logical approach was the one that you was making, debt cancellation, forgiveness of that debt. And that, I think, had the Dutch government very nervous, because St. Martin is entitled to that debt cancellation.
Yes, we are.
And I don't think St. Martin should be paying the Dutch government any interest on any debt. But then again, I'm not a politician.
Now they say you're copying me now, because I said that no interest, nothing at all. And this month we had to pay 12, 13 million. I don't know what the discussion was, because it was going to, our 20 million became June, October, this month.
Right.
what it is. Today's the,
we can't put
in
it
October. Yes, October. And the issue is this: what's going to happen? Are we going to get our 2.7% interest? I told him I will not be paying anything. And did I tell I met with Jerome de Court face to face in Holland House?
No.
Yeah, I met with him face to face. He came down there. That was in 2001, I think it was, on a familiarization trip, as he usually come, familiarize with what they know already, you know. And I said, we were talking about different things. I said, what about the debt, you know? He said, what about that? I said, should be canceled. He tell me, yeah, but the Dutch taxpayers. I said, the Dutch taxpayers. I said, Mr. Jerome, and I mean, very cordial. I said, let us don't go there. I said, all the money you make over 100 years in slavery, you're talking about the Dutch tax money. I said, you didn't pay me. I said, you owe me money. He turned red. He said nothing after that. You know what I mean? Yeah. What defense can he bring? Because it's facts. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? Right. I said, so don't tell me the Dutch taxpayers' money. I said that debt being cancelled will help us at least to move forward. You know what I mean? We don't have to worry about that. We can invest it locally in our infrastructure. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking about. But I'm going to keep hammering it myself. You know, I'm on a TV program every TV Carib.
Yeah.
Yeah, every Monday and Wednesday. You know, it's passed on TV and so on.
You have your own show?
No, the owner of the TV station. Gave me free access. He said whenever I want, so I go every Monday and Wednesday. I go there for about half an hour, yes.
Yeah, that's on, what's his name again now?
Pantophlet. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Dennis.
Yeah.
Yes, I go with him. And then I'm on Tuesday evening on PGD2 with the Castellano, man.
You're keeping busy, man.
Yeah. yes, of course. No, of course, keep busy, man. And then all we got to do, we have to do, because the thing is, people have to be informed. And again, as your program is doing too, people have to listen. Somebody listen, I take notes, because wait a minute, like when I heard Ms. Manenka Gums mention, the finance minister, that Holland just received 1.2 billion euro grant. You heard about that one?
No, go ahead.
Holland received 1.2 billion grant from the European Union, you know. Grant for COVID. But you charge us 300 million for COVID? Loan? Come on, people are saying, man, wake up, man. Wake up, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't know that stuff.
But by the way, you know, I don't like to say this, Mr. Pantophlet, but it was... we should not have accepted that money. Okay, that was a big, big mistake that the finance minister and the council of ministers don't like to hear. They made they should not have done that.
Look, Oral, for me, and I could be wrong. Why couldn't get the money locally?
But it was money.
Why couldn't you get it locally?
Why give hotels and other business money to pay their employees, and some business just folded up rent?
And some of them,
there was a lot of fraud there.
Exactly. Investigation had to take place. I haven't heard the final results of that. Yeah. But a lot of them who didn't deserve it got it.
And a lot of those companies should be paying back that money today, actually.
But in the U.S., where they are, we called it with the 600 billion, people had to pay back.
So let's be real about it. And then the Minister of Finance made a terrible mistake. He was incompetent. And I'm sad to say it, you know, because I know he was a member of your party. Nice guy as a person, but as a politician, he put Simrat in a debt that we're going to have to pay for a long time. And now the Dutch is quid pro. They're saying, hey, look, if you don't do this, the interest rate goes up. On money that we should have never accepted from the Dutch government.
And I told her already plain, Oral, I told him plain, I won't be paying nothing. You took it, but I ain't paying it.
Yeah, we should refuse to pay.
Exactly.
All the payments to the Dutch government should be refused.
And that's when I said to him, yeah, but I said, how can I? I said, what are they going to do? Send in the army? What are they going to do? They can't do anything. You understand? This is no more St. Martin behind closed doors. This is international now, you understand? And they'll expose themselves. Then how do you explain getting a 1.3 billion euro grant? Grant, not a loan. Comparison 300 million guilders in covered loans to your so-called kingdom brothers and sisters.
It's terrible.
You know what I mean? Come on, man. But I agree with you on that.
Look, we're going to be calling you all the time. We don't mind.
I don't mind at all.
On the radio, TV, you know.
I don't mind at all. You don't mind.
Always a pleasure over the years having you, you know. And so, yeah, on working retirement.
Yes.
I never use that term.
No, yeah, working retirement. Now, I'm glad that you come all, because, as you said, whenever you call once I'm available, I will come, because we discuss all issues open and frank, no biases at all about defense, you know what I mean? And I appreciate it, because the fact is, if you can't be honest and frank about what you think or what you say, then it's best you shut your mouth. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the best you do. You know?
No, so you have a lot to say, man.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks again for having me on the program.
Thanks, and I hope everything works out. How's your wife doing so far?
Yes. Oh, she's doing well. As I said, she spent all weekend with me and so on. And
that's nice.
Wants to control and boss me around, but that's okay.
That's good. That's good. I hope she makes a full recovery.
Yes, I believe she will. Yes.
Well, I want to thank you, MP Pantophlet, for being my guest on the program again, and always a pleasure having you. And we'll be calling on you.
No problem. I'll be available. Thank you very much.
And you're working retirement.
That's a new one.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. And that's it for now here on Speaking of Everything on YouTube, Facebook, and on Hot 99.9 FM radio. See you next time. Take care. Bye.